Check this out. No joke. There are mushrooms growing in. Welcome to week 5 in my indoor gardening journey. There's been so much that's happened this week, so much drama in the world of indoor gardening. Before we get into the tour, I'm going to give you a little recap from a few days ago. There's been some exciting events that you need to see before you see what's going on right now. You guys, it's about 7:30 in the morning and it's been, I want to say 3 to 4 days since I last updated you on my indoor garden. And I have a couple super exciting developments. I just had to turn the camera on and show you. And please excuse my mess. I'm going to get my vacuum out later, I swear, and do some thorough vacuuming in here and other cleaning. It could be cleaner, I know that, but ignore the mess. I gotta show you the update. First of all, check out my green onions. Look at all this new growth already. This is crazy. This was the first onion I planted before I filmed the last update, and it is skyrocketed. And all of my other ones, they all have new growth already. This is so crazy. Now I'm going to show you something completely unexpected. I don't even really know what to think of it. I mean, I probably should have expected this, but I absolutely did not. And let me know in the comments what you think I should do about this. Let me show you what it is before we get into it. I just happened to glance into my leggy lettuce planter and check this out. No joke. There are mushrooms growing in my lettuce planter. See if I can get a little closer. Oh, phooey. This just happened. I stuck myself to the I stuck myself to the insect trap. Jesus. It won't come off. This is not okay. Okay, here's a better camera angle. I cannot believe this. There are literally mushrooms growing in my indoor garden and I did not plant these. I can only assume that's because I did use a little bit of soil from outside. Not even that much, but I did use some. So there must have been spores from the outside world that came into the inside world and sprouted mushrooms. So for all the gardening experts out there, my question is, should I remove them? Should I let them continue to grow? Do you think they are poisonous? Do you think they are edible? Do you know what the name of these mushrooms? Do you need a closer look? I have so many questions and I have no answers. So if you have any advice or answers for my questions or my mushroom growing anomaly, please let me know in the comments because I am super intrigued and I'm not really sure what I should do about the mushrooms. I can only imagine if I have 2 right now, there may be more coming. So I may end up with a whole tub of mushrooms, whether they're edible, poisonous, or otherwise. I don't know. Let me know down below what you think about this. Good morning. It is, I want to say day 4, day 5. I'm not sure. Yesterday I showed you those crazy mushrooms that were growing in my leggy lettuce planter, and I've been thinking about that planter for quite some time. I've been thinking about it overnight. I thought about it yesterday and this morning, and I've come to a conclusion. For better or for worse, I am going to be starting fresh. Let's take one more look at this planter I showed you yesterday. This is what it looks like today. Let's take one more look at this planter. I showed it to you yesterday with these mushrooms. It looks like there's actually 3 or 4 mushrooms in here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The other thing I'm going to show you is my bug traps. This is absolutely crazy. There are 2 of them and they have a lot of bugs. This isn't even a week of bugs. Knowing what's going on with the bug situation in my planter, knowing how the lettuce has been so leggy, and there are now mushrooms growing in my little lettuce planter, I've made the decision that I'm going to dump it. It's all going out in the vegetable garden. I'm gonna clean the planter and put fresh soil, not from the outside garden. It was one of the few pots left that there's still outdoor soil in. And we're just getting rid of all of it because I have a theory that is where a majority of those bugs are coming from, is from that soil. So we're starting fresh. And this time we're not growing lettuce. We're growing something else I have in mind. And I'm actually super excited to be trying it out. Let's get outside. We're in the great outdoors now, and we're gonna say a final farewell to my leggy lettuce planter. And we are going to literally dump it into the vegetable garden. You can see the bottom. It does have drainage holes, but looks pretty moist. Kind of interesting. I'm running my fingers through the soil, and oh, it actually has a foul smell. It was definitely time to get rid of it. I didn't smell it in the house, but now that it's outside, I do smell something foul. I do think this soil didn't have good proper drainage because it was overly moist. Now that I'm digging my hands through it, I can really feel that moisture. So we are going to clean up the planter and put some fresh soil in it and a fresh beginning with a new set of plants to grow. So I've cleaned up my planter, refilled it with a specialty blend of soil I'm going to talk about in 1 minute. But first, let me show you what we're going to plant. Right in front of you, right here, these are alpine strawberries. I grew these from seed about 3 to 4 years ago from a company called West Coast Seeds. Don't actually recommend them, but they do have good strawberry plant seeds. So this is one of my particularly abundant clumps of this strawberry plant. This is ever-bearing. It literally produces from about May. And I had my last strawberries on here that I ate, I want to say maybe October 20th. So it's a very long season strawberry plant. You can see there are still strawberries on here, and unlikely they're going to do anything now. But check this out. There are flowers on here in November. Today is November the 3rd. It is a Friday. And we are going to transplant a few of the plants from this clump. This is quite the clump, into my indoor gardening planter. So let's see how this goes. I'm hoping I'm not going to wreck my plant too much by doing this. I don't think I even need to pull here. Okay, here is plant number 1 right here. It looks like I pulled one out that already has some strawberries on it. Just going to take a quick peek. These berries are nowhere near ripe. These are not a red strawberry. These get an orangey white in color, taste like cotton candy, and are smaller than the average strawberry. But you can see what the fruit looks like. We are going to transplant that into my planter. I think there's actually 2 here. And while we're doing this, I'll tell you what I put in the planter. A little different than your average soil mix. So I did potting soil. And all of this is fresh. Nothing is from the outside world. I did a good amount of potting soil. I did seed starting mix. Let's do another one here. Oh, that didn't come out as well as I hoped. We do have some roots though. Not as healthy, this one, but there are berries on it. So we're going to just pluck off some of these unhealthy leaves. So I did a seed starting mix, potting soil, and because I noted with my last batch of lettuce soil that did not do well, that there was an abundance of moisture despite having drainage holes in this container, decided to add a full container of sand that I have from dollar store. I usually use those either in fairy gardens or in my cactus repotting. But I decided this planter needed better drainage and sand was the way to go. Because this is a fruit-bearing crop, I added an abundance of rock phosphate. Rock phosphate is similar to bone meal in that it promotes flowering and fruiting in plants that produce fruits. So it's something I typically fertilize my berries and fruit trees with every year, actually twice a year. And I think that might produce more flowers on these berries. So fingers crossed that this works out. I've got a few here, so I'm going to pop these into the planter and meet you inside. So we are back in the house now, and I'm going to show you my final planting home for my strawberry plants. This is the leggy lettuce planter. I am trying to learn from my mistakes. So the last time you saw this planter, it was on the table, and I have decided to utilize some books that I haven't looked at in years. I've got some nursing texts, some yearbooks, and we are going to elevate this planter. So here they are. Some people might think I'm cheating by using plants that already have fruits and some have flowers on them. And if you want to think that, go ahead, it's fine. This is for me as an experiment. So if my strawberries can produce berries on their own in this planter all winter, I will be over the moon excited. In fact, I'll be even more excited than if I could grow the lettuce that wasn't working well for me. So assuming that the berries that are on there ripen already, that is awesome. But assuming I get more flowers and more fruits that aren't there already, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, I have no regrets about transplanting these strawberries. There's still lots outside. So if it works out inside, this will be a success. Apparently, you can hand pollinate strawberry plants. I looked into how to do that, educated myself. So hopefully, fingers crossed, can grow strawberries in the house this winter. And one more note, in this new location for my strawberry plants, I can actually give the strawberries good lighting with my grow lights. So I think that is definitely a win. And they're closer to the natural light. So the book idea, I do think was a good idea. We're going to start off with some super positive growth. And that is with my green onion planter. In the last video, you would have seen me plant these. Look at how much they have grown in, I believe it's actually 6 days, not even a week. All of this incredible growth deserves a ruler. So I brought out my ruler and we're gonna do a little measurement on some of my green onions. Okay, so, whoa. Try this again. This is my ruler and I've got my green onion here. We are to look at the numbers. I'm looking at them off camera because I don't know that the camera is focusing very well. But this is about 7 inches of growth in 6 days on this particular green onion. That is crazy. We're gonna move to another green onion because I think this was the one that I planted about 3 to 4 days before I planted the other ones. So let's check that out because that might be a more accurate measurement of growth. I'm gonna pick the tallest piece of this green onion. And cannot tell if the camera is capturing it, the numbers. It looks like it's under 6 inches. So I'm gonna say it's like 5 3/4 of an inch worth of growth in 6 days. Still very impressive. Moving into the biggest change you would have seen in the clip you watched at the beginning of this video, I have strawberries in my indoor garden now. Yes, they are from outside, but this is completely experimental. And yes, they do have berries. This did not form in the last 3 days. These were already on here. But the question is, are they going to flower and give me even more berries now that they're in the house for winter? If that happens, that is the ultimate goal. So I will be super delighted. I don't think it'll be a problem to pollinate them with my finger, a Q-tip, or a paintbrush. It should be fine. So fingers crossed that I do get some indoor strawberries. I have never grown strawberries in the house before to production level. Journeying a little further into the window, we have my basil collection. I have not harvested since my last video, and there's definitely still new growth. A lot of the leaves are coming in small because I did a decent size harvest in the last video. So yeah, they're doing fine, just chilling out in my window. No problems here. Moving along, this is that lettuce planter I showed you in the last video. I didn't actually talk about it. This was my leggy lettuce planter, but in the corner right here, this is the second cucumber seedling that I have. I believe I mentioned I had two, but I never showed you. So it's been in here since it sprouted. I transplanted it pretty quick into this little tray when I saw what was happening to my other one. And I have to say it's been slow growing. I have been moving it under a grow light almost every day for a few hours. Is it helping? I can't tell, but it's been a slow growth time for this little seedling. Moving along, we have some of my bell pepper plants that were these were transplanted in the last video. They're doing okay. I think once again they're growing pretty slowly, but no real issues going on, just slow growth. Moving over into the starter tray, we've got the bell peppers that were a little smaller in the last video. They have definitely put on some more growth. Tomato plants are slow and steady. Coming over here, we've got one tomato seedling, the one right here that has really taken off. Not ready for potting yet, but pretty soon. There are some more bell pepper seedlings here, and my cucumber plant is doing awesome. This one here was the one that I originally showed you that was growing in these two pots. I had planted 4 seeds in case you missed the beginning of the series, and they were growing a little leggy when they started coming up, so I put them in the starter tray. I moved it into this little owl planter, and check it out now. Those true leaves are getting bigger, and there is a second one coming in, so that is super awesome. And in case you missed the video where I talked about it, this planter does not have a drainage hole. So that was a bit of an experiment in itself. We are going to journey on top of this bed now to check out more seedlings. These were planted in my last video. I potted them up from my starter trays. Lighting isn't quite as good over here. And they're doing fine. I think this particular one, this was the one out of all my pots that has a drainage hole. And check this out. I want to say the growth to me looks like it's double all of my other ones that are in the window, or pretty close to double. This one's not bad. I don't know why this one seems to have taken off more than the others, but I'm certainly happy about it. I don't think I can attribute that to the drainage hole yet, but maybe in the future we can make that attribution. And coming over to this window, I did have more than one here, but let's check this one out. Here we have another bell pepper plant, a little slower growing than the ones I just showed you, but it's doing fine. In case you're wondering what the plastic is, I actually thoroughly scrubbed the windowsills, and then I decided to put some plastic down to protect them. Gotta keep everything clean whenever possible. Coming into my little computer room, I wanted to show you that I do have more of my bell pepper seedlings. I've been rotating these bell pepper seedlings around my different grow lights. So this one is looking pretty good actually. I try to leave them under this grow light for, I'm gonna say 2 hours at a time, sometimes 3 hours. And then I put them back in their little window spots. So they do get a little bit of extra light, and I don't think they really produce much heat at all, so I can't say heat, but they do get more light coming over here for a few hours a day. I almost forgot to show you my lettuce planter that was doing super well last week that I was so excited about. Something happened in the last, I'm gonna say not even 12 hours. I watered it yesterday and look at it now. It still looked really good yesterday. It's all droopy and it's like the moisture has come out of these leaves. There's one good leaf and two that look terrible. My other ones are kind of iffy. Not sure what happened to this in less than 12 hours. That's all for this week's indoor garden update. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss future indoor garden updates. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in another area of the garden very soon. Bye for now.